He had spent the entire evening trying to avoid the woman who had the power to change his career. He never imagined that the intimidating CEO he was desperately hiding from would walk up to his table, lean close, and whisper 6 words that would turn his whole night upside down. I'm your blind date. Sometimes, the person we fear most is the person who needs kindness the most. And sometimes, one simple act of kindness can change 2 lives forever. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to Single Dad Stories 0.2, like this video, and leave a comment telling us where you're watching from. Now, let's get into this emotional story. My name is Daniel, and being a single dad had taught me one important lesson: life rarely goes according to plan. I was 38, raising my 8-year-old daughter, Lily, on my own. Her mother had left when Lily was 3, and since then, it had been just the 2 of us. I worked as a project manager at a large technology company. It was a decent job, but money was always tight. Between rent, groceries, school expenses, and Lily's medical bills from a condition she had as a baby, there wasn't much left at the end of the month. Still, I considered myself lucky. Lily was the brightest part of my life. One Friday evening, my best friend Marcus convinced me to try something I hadn't done in years. You need to meet someone, he told me. I don't have time for dating. You have one evening. That's all I'm asking. So I agreed to a blind date at a small restaurant downtown. I arrived early, wearing my only good jacket. I sat near the window and checked my phone every few minutes. Then I saw her. She walked into the restaurant wearing a simple black dress, but everyone seemed to notice her. The manager immediately greeted her. 2 employees whispered as she passed. I recognized her instantly. Victoria Hart. The CEO of my company. My stomach dropped. There was no way I was going to sit across from the woman who could fire me, evaluate my work, and decide my future. I stood up and quietly moved toward the exit. But before I could reach the door, I heard a soft voice behind me. Daniel? I froze. Victoria was standing there. Then she leaned closer and whispered, I'm your blind date. I stared at her in disbelief. You're kidding. She smiled nervously. I wish I were. But apparently, our friends know each other. I wanted to laugh, but I was too shocked. We sat down. For the first few minutes, neither of us knew what to say. Then Victoria looked at me and said, You were trying to escape. I smiled awkwardly. I thought I was protecting my job. She laughed for the first time that night. You don't have to worry. I'm not here as your CEO. That sentence changed everything. For the next hour, we talked about normal things. Favorite foods. Movies. Childhood memories. Then Victoria asked about my daughter. My expression softened immediately. Her name is Lily. She's 8. Victoria smiled. You talk about her like she's your whole world. She is. I told her how Lily loved drawing, how she wanted to become an artist, and how every night she left little drawings beside my bed. Victoria became quiet. Then she said something I didn't expect. My daughter used to draw too. I looked at her. Used to? Victoria looked down at her hands. She passed away 6 years ago. My heart sank. I'm sorry. She nodded. I haven't talked about her in years. For the first time, I saw the CEO disappear. She wasn't the powerful woman from the office anymore. She was simply a mother who missed her child. I reached across the table and said, You don't have to talk about it if it hurts. She looked at me with tears in her eyes. Thank you. It was a small sentence. But I could tell it meant everything. The next morning, something unexpected happened. Victoria sent me a message. She said she had enjoyed the evening and wanted to see me again. But I hesitated. I worried that dating my CEO could destroy my career. So I told her we should keep things professional. She understood. A few weeks passed. Then Lily's school announced an art competition. The winner would receive a scholarship. Lily spent days preparing her drawing. The night before the competition, she looked at me and said, "Daddy, I wish Mommy could see this." I hugged her tightly. "I know, sweetheart." The next day, Lily won second place. She was thrilled. When I returned to work, I found Victoria waiting outside my office. She wasn't there as my CEO. She was holding something. A small framed drawing. It was Lily's artwork. "How did you get this?" I asked. "Your daughter gave it to me." I stared at the picture. Lily had drawn a little girl holding hands with her mother beneath a bright yellow sun. Victoria's eyes filled with tears. She told me I could keep it because she thought I looked lonely. I couldn't say a word. Victoria continued. "Daniel, I've spent years believing that success could fill the empty spaces in my life. It couldn't." She looked at the drawing. "Your daughter's kindness reminded me that people don't always need money, power, or solutions. Sometimes they just need someone to notice that they're hurting." I nodded. "That sounds like something Lily would say." Victoria smiled. From that day forward, things changed. Victoria began spending time with Lily and me, not as my boss, but as someone who had become part of our lives. She helped Lily create a small art scholarship at her school in memory of her daughter. And I learned something too. Kindness isn't always a grand gesture. Sometimes it's sitting beside someone who is hurting. Sometimes it's listening. Sometimes it's saying, "You don't have to talk about it." And sometimes, it's a little girl giving away her favorite drawing to someone who simply looked lonely. Years later, Lily still remembers that day. She once asked me, "Daddy, do you think being kind really changes people?" I smiled and told her, "I know it does. Because kindness changed Victoria. It changed me. And somehow, it brought two broken pieces of two families together." So if you're watching this today, remember that you never truly know what someone is carrying behind their smile. A small act of kindness might be the one thing they remember for the rest of their life. Be patient. Be gentle. Listen when someone needs to be heard. Because sometimes, kindness doesn't just brighten someone's day. Sometimes, it gives them a reason to believe in tomorrow.